Hello, welcome to Eye on Africa with me, Yinko Etade. Here are the top stories. Doctors Without Borders sounds the alarm over Sudan, warning sexual violence against women and girls is being used as a weapon of war. MSF sharing harrowing accounts from survivors in South and North Darfur, including cases of gang rape, in a report released Tuesday. It's being described as the latest attack on free speech by the government in Tunisia, a court sentencing news web editor Ghassan Ben Khalifa to 2 years behind bars for publishing fake news, Ben Khalifa denying any wrongdoing. After stops in New York, London and Melbourne, the Africa Fashion Exhibition arrives in Paris. Hosted at the Quai Branly Museum, it features hundreds of garments and jewelry pieces from African designers and the global diaspora. Thank you for joining us. We're starting in Sudan, where aid groups are warning sexual violence against women and girls is being used as a weapon of war. A report released Tuesday by Doctors Without Borders shares harrowing accounts from survivors in South and North Darfur, including cases of gang rape. The organization says that nearly 3,400 survivors sought treatment at its facilities between January of 2024 and November of last year. Many of the victims reported being attacked by armed men, and in South Darfur, 60% of cases involved multiple perpetrators. We're going to bring in Gloria Ndrio, who is a midwife with Doctors Without Borders. She joins us now from the Kenyan capital. Gloria, thank you so much for being with us on the program. Now, we know you worked in Tawila in North Darfur. Just speak to us about what you witnessed firsthand treating survivors of sexual violence there.
Thank you very much, Moderator, and giving me the opportunity to speak out about the tragic event of sexual violence in North Darfur. Sexual violence is mostly tied to moments of major attacks during the periods of displacement and escalation of wars in Darfur region. The level of brutality caused in very severe against women and girls. They are gang raped and raped under gunpoints. Sexual violence is used by the military forces to instill fear, intimidate, and control, also to threaten the people in this region. This act leaves many of the survivors to remain silent for fear of being hunted or killed by the perpetrators. Yet, the situations involved in this matter, MSF has observed the clear shift over time in both timing of violence and when the survivors are able to seek for help. We were able to see many clients come to our clinic for care and services within 72 hours. Amidst all this, especially for the escalation of violence around Zamzam come in April after the fall of El Fassil also, MSF has observed an increasing number of survivors coming for care and help in our facility, weeks or even months after the assault, reflecting that both restricted access to care and conditions under which they are forced to seek for help happens. This shift also reflects both
Gloria, I'm really sorry to interrupt you.
Reduced access.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Thank you so much for giving us that sort of the landscape of the situation in Sudan. I would love to find out about what you experienced firsthand as a midwife. Did you encounter any survivors, who were pregnant because of what they had gone through?
I encountered a lot of survivors during the time I worked in North Darfur. A lot of the survivors who reported being gang raped under gunpoints, raped in front of family members, their children, others were killed, they were brutally beaten. Many women came seeking for help, not because they knew about the services, but because they got pregnant out of the rape. The situation in this region is quite devastating, painful, and traumatizing at the same time, not only to the survivors, but also to those who provide care and services to these people.
Well, the report talks about how victims are attacked both in areas that are affected by the conflict, but also in everyday settings. Just from your experience, where are perpetrators likely to commit these kind of crimes?
As mentioned, these perpetrators are everywhere. There is no safe place for women. Women are being raped when they go to farms. They are being raped when they go to look for firewood, to fetch water. They are being raped even in their homes because there is no system that protects them in this region. So literally, there is no safe place for the women in this region. They live their fate without hope for tomorrow, without knowing what comes tomorrow. That is the fate of the women and the situation they are facing in this region.
And Gloria, did you feel equipped to treat patients properly when you were in North Darfur? Did you feel that you had enough resources to administer care?
Yes, I would say as a humanitarian organization, MSF lacked nothing to provide care and services. The only thing that we were constrained to do was support, like psychosocial support to the victims who need help and support beyond medical care, because MSF only provide medical support to these victims. And there are certain things that need to be done, like counseling, protection, that can only be done outside the hospital. And because of that, we cannot do everything. But in the hospital, we are able to provide all the necessary care needed for these survivors.
Gloria, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Really interesting to hear about your experience working in North Darfur in Sudan. Thank you for that. Let's turn to Tunisia now. A court there has sentenced news website editor Ghassan Ben Khalifa to 2 years in prison. The SNGT union says Ben Khalifa, the editor-in-chief of the news website Inhi Gyaz, was charged with publishing false news in a case dating back more than 3 years. Ben Khalifa has denied any wrongdoing, slamming the case as a farce. The union says Ben Khalifa is the latest victim of a systematic attack on free speech by the government. Ben Khalifa is one of dozens of opposition leaders, journalists and civil society activists who have been jailed since President Kais Saied began ruling by decree back in 2021. The families of some of the prisoners took to the streets demanding their loved ones be freed. Like Ben Khalifa, many say the charges against them are fabricated and politically motivated. Noor Bashtika has the story now.
February 2026. Youssef Shawashi took part in a march to demand the liberation of his father and dozens of other journalists, politicians and lawyers jailed on what many Tunisians denounce as trumped-up charges.
After 2011, we really thought that these practices were a thing of the past. The only option left to us was to take to the streets, and we'll continue to demand the release of the detainees.
A lawyer and leader of the Democratic Current opposition party, Ghazi Shawashi, was arrested in 2023 and accused, along with more than 50 others, of taking part in a terrorist conspiracy against the state. After spending 2 years in detention without trial, he was handed a 20-year jail sentence in 2025. Yet his family and legal experts say prosecutors failed to provide any tangible evidence of his crimes and denounce a politically motivated crackdown led by Tunisian President Kais Saied. Ghazi's other son, Elias, who now lives in France in political exile, says he was targeted alongside his father.
Since June 2023, I've been investigated in 9 cases. I've been accused of forming a terrorist group, possession of ammunition, possession of weapons, and training terrorist elements in the Tunisian mountains, even though I didn't return to Tunisia during that time, and I was sentenced to 72 years in prison.
Rights groups and democracy watchdogs have long denounced Kais Saied's expansive political crackdown. Since the Tunisian president dissolved parliament in 2021 and the country's Supreme Judicial Council a year later, the majority of the country's opposition leaders and government critics have been thrown in jail.
After dazzling the public at the V&A Museum and stints at museums in Canada and Australia, the Africa Fashion Exhibition has landed at the Quai Branly Museum here in Paris. This showcase of continental style features the historic weaves of traditional dress, the ancestral motifs reclaimed during decolonization, and the African creations making a splash on contemporary red carpets. Antonio Garrigan went to check it out.
From traditional textiles to contemporary runway creations, Africa Fashion showcases hundreds of garments and pieces of jewellery designed both on the African continent and across its diaspora. In pride of place is the work of Cameroonian Iman Aissi, the first ever sub-Saharan African designer to be included in the exclusive calendar of haute couture. His contemporary designs pay tribute to the sartorial traditions of the continent.
The dress is woven out of linen and silk with these raffia fibers. Raffia is a very rustic material, very present in Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, almost everywhere in Africa. It's completely natural. Raffia is to Africa what glitter is to Europe.
During the decolonization of Africa, fashion became a powerful tool for expression, protest, and cultural identity, fusing modern cuts with the colors, prints, and weaves of the continent, as Africa Fashion's curator explains.
You have to really begin, I believe, in those independence years with a reclamation of self, with a real pride in being African, with a sense of Pan-Africanism and a sense of unity being almost more important than difference in that moment.
This fashion revolution is captured through photographs that immortalise many unique styles of Africa, like Rashid Mahdi's work, capturing the Sudanese middle class in their Sunday best.
You'd go to the photographer in your best clothes, and the photographer would create a sophisticated and positive image of you. And Rashid Mahdi is a real virtuoso. He'd work with large negatives and elaborate tools.
A far cry from Guy Tillim's candid street scenes of Africans dressed for their everyday lives. African stylists have never been quite so visible on catwalks or at the Quai Branly Museum. Ghanaian Aisha Ayensu, Senegalese Seli Rabi Khan, or Tebe Magugu from South Africa. But for Iman Aissi, a significant challenge remains.
You have to buy what African artists are making. If no one buys, African fashion cannot develop. It's taken me more than 25 years to get where I am, and I've been invited into this elite circle of luxury. But where are the Africans to buy my work?
After the UK, America, Australia and Canada, Africa Fashion ends its world tour in Paris, where it will be visitable for a 3.5-month run, ending on the 12th of July.
It's just less than 3 months to go till the finest football teams go head-to-head for the World Cup. Ghana is making a major shake-up. The team has fired its coach, Otto Addo. The decision reportedly came just hours after Ghana's 2-1 defeat to Germany in a friendly match. Oh, it's the 4th consecutive defeat for the Black Stars. Pressure had already been mounting, though, with fans frustrated after Ghana failed to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, despite a squad featuring Premier League talents. Well, that's it from all of us on the Eye on Africa team, but stay here on France 24. Plenty more news to come.